Moneygram outlet held up in Portmore. Prisoner killed in lockup. Skeletal remains found of missing teacher. Two bullet-riddled bodies found while the Reggae girls take on Brazil in the second game. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. French authorities on Friday raised preliminary terrorism charges against an 18-year-old who is accused of a plot targeting spectators attending football games at the upcoming Paris Olympics. The Interior Minister said it was the first such thwarted plot targeting the Games, which starts in 8 weeks as France is on its highest threat alert level. The National Counterterrorism Prosecutor's Office said in a statement on Friday that the man is accused of planning a violent action on behalf of the Islamic State group's jihadist ideology. The man, who was not identified, is being held in custody pending further investigations. The planned attack was to target spectators and police forces, the statement said. The suspect wanted to attack the Olympic events to die and become a martyr, the statement also said. Back in Jamaica, a St. Anne's businessman was on Friday allegedly fleeced of almost $2 million after leaving a bank in Brownstown. And it's reported that about 1 p.m., the man withdrew $1.9 million and was escorted to his car by a security officer. He then drove to Bethany near Alexandria, where he went into a restaurant, leaving the bag with the cash inside the vehicle. On his return to the car, he was approached by a man who asked to be transported to Alexandria, to which the businessman consented. Minutes after boarding the vehicle, the passenger asked to be let out with the explanation that he saw a friend he was waiting for. The man got into another car and then left. The businessman then checked for the money under the car seat where he had placed it, but it was missing. The Brownstown police are now investigating, and this is a very weird story. You have $1.9 million in your car, a man beg you a ride, and you just give him a ride so, and the money disappear. Well, you can wheel and come again, boss. That story really not cut it. Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake has directed the Inspectorate and Professional Standards Branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to commence an immediate probe into the circumstances that resulted in the killing of a prisoner by other detainees at the Chapelton lockup in Clarendon on Monday morning. A team from the Independent Commission of Investigations is also processing the scene. The deceased has been identified as 31-year-old Rikima Bravo, an unemployed man of Irongate District in Chapelton. According to the police, about 3:15 a.m., unusual sounds were heard coming from one of the cells and checks were made. Mr. Bravo was seen with a wound which was reportedly inflicted by other prisoners. He was transported to the Maypen Hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police said Mr. Bravo was taken into custody on Saturday after he attacked his grandmother with a knife and destroyed her property. He was charged with assault at common law and malicious destruction of property. Family said he was of unsound mind and should not have been placed in the same cell as regular prisoners. A suspect has been taken into custody in relation to the missing primary school teacher Daniel Anglin. This was disclosed by Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey. Investigators are to conduct forensic tests to determine whether skeletal remains found in bushes in Clarendon on Monday morning are those of Miss Anglin. The skeleton remains were discovered in the community of Salt River during a joint investigation between the Clarendon and St. Catherine South Police sometime after 6 o'clock. The 29-year-old woman was last seen on May 13 when she left home in Helsha in St. Catherine for work in St. Peter Claver Primary School in St. Andrew. DCP Bailey said the man was held following a quick investigation and the use of technology. According to DCP Bailey, the suspect had since given a statement to the police admitting his involvement in the disappearance of Miss Anglin. He said the suspect was previously charged for sexual offenses in 2015 and had also been convicted of sexual offenses in Antigua and was deported back to Jamaica. The St. Catherine South Police have now launched a search for two suspects who held up and robbed the Moneygram outlet at the Portmore Mall in Portmore yesterday morning. Reports are that sometime after 11 o'clock, two armed men entered and robbed an undetermined amount of money from the outlet. However, on leaving the store, the men were challenged by a security guard, and it's reported that the security guard, just like Rambo, shot the two robbers, but they were still able to escape the scene. The stolen money was recovered by the security personnel after the wounded robbers left behind the cash following the shooting. The bullet-riddled bodies of two men were found in a gully along Slipe Road in St. Andrew. Police said that explosions were heard in the area about 6 p.m. on Sunday, and a passerby alerted the police to the bodies about 7 o'clock on Monday morning. About 30 spent shells were found at that scene, and both men were found wearing masks. The police have charged two men with the shooting death of a bearer in Kingston sometime between Saturday, May 18 and Wednesday, May 22nd. The deceased has been identified as 39-year-old Andre Allen of a Kingston address. Charged with murder and accessory after the fact are 21-year-old Orlando Hamilton, otherwise called Baba, and 21-year-old Norman Dickens, otherwise called Bob, of the same community. Reports are that Hamilton stumbled on Allen's lifeless body in a yard with five men standing over him, and later in the morning it is alleged that both Hamilton and Dickens were seen mixing cement and covering a pit that Allen's body was later found in. The police then launched an investigation and both men were taken into custody and charged. On to sports, Jamaica's Shericka Jackson rebounded from Thursday's fifth-place finish in Oslo to run a season-best 22.69 seconds to win the women's 200 meters at the Buhas Galan Diamond League meet at Olympic Stadium in Stockholm in Sweden. Jackson admitted in a press conference on Saturday that she was hurt by the poor performance and made up with an improved performance. She led off the curve and cruised home. Sweden's Julia Henriksson ran a personal best 22.89 seconds to come second, while Great Britain's Amy Hunt was third with 22.92 seconds. There were also second-place finishes for Rochelle Clayton in the women's 400 meters hurdles and Shanika Ricketts in the women's triple jump event. Clayton ran 53.78 seconds to finish behind Holland's Fenke Ball, who opened her hurdle season with 53.07 seconds, putting her second best behind American world record holder Sydney McLaughlin-Lavon, who ran 52.07 seconds to win at the Ed Moses Classic at Atlanta, Georgia on Friday. On to football, Theodore Tapper Whitmore will no longer be the head coach of Mount Pleasant Football Academy. The dethroned Ray and Neville Jamaica Premier League champions after 2 seasons in charge. Whitmore was informed by the club that his contract would not be renewed when it expired at the end of July. Mount Pleasant sporting director Paul Christie said that the club will be moving in a different direction next season and notified Whitmore and the coaching staff of their decision. The former Reggae Boys midfielder joined the club in July of 2022, months after being sacked as head coach of the national senior men's team. And he led Mount Pleasant to their first ever league title over Cavaliers in 2023, but was unable to repeat this year, with Cavalier beating them in the finals 2 weeks ago. And after losing 4-0 on Sunday, Jamaica Reggae girls will try to redeem themselves today in the second friendly match against Brazil, and game time begins at 7 p.m. this evening. And don't forget, the best news and sports takes place on this station. If you missed the news, please go to YouTube, type in Jamerican Undiluted, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's news and sports. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.